Oh, they got.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry. Let me go. Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right, sweet. All right, so we have a small knit group today, which is fine. Hey, Carlo, thank you for joining us.
Hey, I was interested in Griffins was telling me about the call last week. So is it posted on YouTube?
Yes, I can actually drop the link for you. Let me go ahead and get it.
Okay, thanks.
Hello. And last week we had a gentleman by the name of Justin Colby come on. I actually joined Justin's community last week, and it's been pretty good so far. He does like live calls. He's very like in the weeds and very hands-on with his community as well too.
Is Colby spelled Colby?
Yes.
Okay, let me first get a pen that writes.
I'm
Is
about
Justin, is that the name of his group? Justin, how do I find his group?
to. It's called REI Live, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, my goal this week is to start pulling some lists so I can do some cold calling with you on these calls.
Nice. Yes. And I would love to do the cold calling live with you guys here as well too. That's really kind of like what we want to foster. You know, I got an opportunity to collaborate a little bit with Griffin as well too, on some opportunities, but just having more of those interactions will I think will really make this group, shine.
Yeah, I agree. That was pretty helpful. I mean, if it was a very good deal, I'm sure we could have definitely worked it out. It was just quite complicated with all
Mhm.
the pieces, and then the seller just wasn't very cooperative as far as being on the phone and stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you made a good judgment call. I mean, if she's not cooperating with us with you trying to get more information, I could just imagine what it is trying to close.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, and it's like a whole bunch of properties. It wasn't just one, so
Oh,
different classes of assets too. So
yeah.
yeah,
Carla,
So would that be someone that he would follow up with later or just
yeah,
if they're
Justin.
that difficult?
Well, no, I just think that it's with that particular seller, she had about like what 13, 14 properties that she wanted to sell. And then she just wasn't, responsive because she had a mixture of land, some houses. I think she even had some mobile homes on there. And it was just a lot to underwrite. And we did need a little bit more information from her just to kind of figure out what's the best way to present all of these. But she just wasn't responsive. So yeah. But anyway, Carla, what's going on in your world? You got anything brewing this past week that you want to share? Any quick wins?
Uh, in terms of getting a little more clarity about what I want to do. So what I thought I'd do is just work on finding the sellers and then work with, like you and Brian in the wholesaling land group. You guys have the buyers, so I don't have to focus on that right now. I just want to get going, get sellers, work with you on these calls to about cold calling, that kind of thing. And it helps me to narrow some things down, not trying to do everything all by myself.
Gotcha. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so that's definitely you got my JV criteria, right? Carla?
Oh, I'm still there. Um, I thought you were working on that. Did you finalize that? I think at one point, I don't know, I might have, did you give it out loud or something? Because I thought you were working on something to get it all finalized so we'd know what to do. But I'd like to have it.
Yeah, I actually have it finalized. Let me go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Okay.
And then Griff, you could use this as well too. If you need to.
Okay, but yeah, that'd be perfect. Appreciate it.
What about you, Griff?
Now on the call with Brian yesterday, there was mentioning of, are markets slowing down? And if so, how does someone handle that in terms of talking to a seller?
So the various markets are responding very differently to the economic state of the world. I think the biggest impact that they all have in common is the fact that because interest rates are on the rise a little bit, that is, shrinking the buyer pool because the higher rates are, the less people are for. So that is one thing that a lot of people, some buyers, especially in the house space, they're sitting on inventory longer. If you're selling to builders like we are, they're sitting on inventory longer. So that's causing them to reevaluate their acquisition price on some of the deals that they purchased. Because again, once it's time for them to resell their house or resell their construction, it's taking a little bit longer because of the rates.
Oh, okay. So would it be advisable? I mean, to still search out because there's still deals out there.
Yeah.
Is there some other niche or approach that I should do that can, that can help with that kind of situation, with this situation where people are holding on because of the uncertainty?
Um, it wouldn't necessarily be like they're holding out because of the uncertainty. They're just reevaluating how they acquire properties. So before, they'll probably get properties, they'll be willing to spend more because they could sell it for more. But now most buyers are kind of being cautious of spending more because their properties are selling for less on the market. So that's kind of like what's going on right now.
So, okay, so I'll still continue to look, of course. Does this thing ever happen, before, and is it a particular time of year, like the spring? Could coming into like right now, the weather's getting better. I'm driving around Tech in Fort Worth and stuff like that, in areas near Fort Worth. I'm seeing a lot of construction going on. I'm looking at apartment complexes popping up all around me. I'm looking at them building. I'm seeing a lot of activity. I
Yeah.
don't see a slow. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because it's just the area that I'm in, but when I'm driving around, I always look for that. And that's why I was kind of curious, maybe because in Texas we have really good weather in March, generally speaking, um, except for that whole what was that dust storm that we had in West Texas that blew. It was crazy, but we generally have pretty decent weather, and you begin to see Home Depot parking lots fuller, that kind of thing. I'm seeing, people, the do-it-yourselfers and those who are, maybe contractors and stuff like that, and subcontractors.
Gotcha. Yeah, and what part of Texas do you stay?
Okay, so I'm in Fort Worth, and when you talk about DFW, it's like I am west of Dallas, and Dallas is east of me, and then you have all the surrounding areas like Arlington, Plano, Grand Prairie. There's some areas that I'm seeing growth in that are little small towns. I thought about looking at those because they're about maybe 30 minutes outside of Dallas. And I mean, they're building a lot in those small areas. They're small areas, but they're doing a lot of construction on apartments, houses. I'm seeing townhouses sometimes. Um, so maybe I just start looking at some of those markets as well. Um, but I just see activity. I mean, even on the street itself, you're seeing them paving areas, in the areas where they're building those apartment houses, they're doing work on the streets, things like that. That's what I'm seeing.
Gotcha. Okay. With those developments that you're seeing, I think one way to kind of get good information or insight is maybe try to get a point of contact with the company or in charge of overseeing that project, because some people might be pivoting to like build to rent, right? But a lot of your short-term investors or people that, look to get in and out of projects, those are the ones that are being heavily impacted right now, based on just affordability is the biggest thing.
Oh, that is a great idea. I'm going to do that because, like I said, I'm driving around and I see the growth, and it's happening. These little smaller towns, like there's a city called Saginaw, is right next door to me, and I'm seeing this little sleepy town. I mean, progress and grow. They've got so much going on. This little, and it's going fast too. And then the school district I'm in, it's growing pretty fast. The construction, because they're having to build new high schools and they can't keep up with it because the population is booming, because this is a very popular school district, right? And they offer a quality education. For a public school, they offer an excellent education. My grandkids attended the schools in this district, and that's why I moved here and in that area. And it's wow, it's just booming all around, and you can see the constructions for new schools, and then they're adding on to the elementary school that's 2 blocks from me because of growth. They had to expand. It was a smaller school, and they had to expand it. Now, the schools in Texas, they look like college campuses.
Mhm.
They mimic. I kid you not. The high schools look like college camps. They have a student hall and everything. It looks like a college camp. They're all big. Some of the elementary schools are even mimicking that type of uh, structure building where they're pretty big. It's because they have to accommodate the people that are moving into the areas, and people are still moving here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a big thing with all markets that are going through some form of I guess a correction. You know what I mean? No one has like a crystal ball directly, but I think what we could do kind of like as wholesalers or just people that invest in real estate is we need to figure out ahead of time as best as we can, right? It's not that we can predict the future, but we need to figure out ahead of time where would the potential demand be for said asset class or said piece of real estate, right? Um, and I think a lot of people often get freaked out when the market does start correcting itself. And then they kind of get into a panic. But I kind of have the mindset of like somewhere in any market in the US, there's a need and then there's a supply, or a demand and there's a supply. So we just have to be more calculated in regards to how we get the supply in order to be able to meet the demand at the present time, is what my opinion
Oh,
is.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with that wholly because I don't watch the news a whole lot, and it's on purpose because there's so much doom and gloom. I try to, I sift through things that are important. The rest of it, I stay away from it because I do. Because sometimes you'll see articles like in the Fort Worth area, what businesses are coming to the area.
Mhm.
Okay, and so that with businesses, they're going to bring, sometimes if it's a bigger company, they're going to bring some of their people with them. And I want to know where they're building. So I was thinking about looking at that, look at those trends, and start attending the meetings that they have, council meetings, because I attended some last year, and I think they've begun to set up and start up again. Because at those, they were talking about a lot of growth in some areas, even for the police departments, things like that. And so perhaps I like what you said earlier. I really do need to network and find out, the who, what, when, where, and how of things. Because I'm not originally from Fort Worth. I don't know that many people here. I've been here a long time. I'm from Kansas City, and I came here by way of Wichita, Kansas. So it's time for me to get out there and network and really, really get out there and see what's going on. Because, like I said, I'm looking around me. I see money. I don't know what they're talking about, but I look around. I see money all around me. It's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another thing that will also help is um, not that you have to watch the news to kind of like be up to date about what's going on, but kind of like speak to people that watch the market and see, or especially people that are active, right? Whether they're flipping and fixing and flipping or new construction, getting their insight on current market conditions can kind of help you taper your expectations, because there is a lot of fear mongering that goes on with like the public media. So maybe like reaching out and just having those conversations with, like people that are actively in the field doing deals will kind of put that a lot of the fear mongering to rest.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I just thought about when you start saying that, start thinking about people I need to reach out to get a feel, because some of them are realtors, some of them they are doing fix and flips. So I need to have a conversation with them.
Yep, absolutely. I think another thing that's also been beneficial for me that I'm currently working on right now, dialing in and perfecting, is novations. Novations has been a big buzzword that I've been hearing about a lot. I know it's very popular in the house space, but I think it can also be done in land as well too. And there's a couple of people that I've networked with that have spoke about doing novations in the land space, and it's essentially almost just getting the property at a price where it's able to be listed on the market and the seller can get what they want, and then you can still make a spread on the deal. Obviously, you got to go through like a flat fee broker or a flat fee MLS type of situation. But I'm currently working with an attorney that I met at a mastermind group that is helping me perfect the language so I can add that in my contract. And then that way I could be, protected on all ends. So that's something that's also very beneficial for you guys to look into, because then it allows you to give multiple options to the seller when you're presenting your offers.
And see, that's what I was thinking of. It's like, not only do I mean, what other areas or niches we could look into, but that's almost like a niche. So can you guys have a class on novations? Because I hear that buzzword also. I want to understand it and see how it works, because I have a better understanding of it so I can, implement something like that. Now, is seller financing close to novation? Is that similar in, are
No,
there similarities? Not okay.
yeah, seller finance will be a little bit different. Seller finance is more so if the seller as there are the bank, and then you'll be making monthly payments to the seller um, until the property is paid off.
Okay. Could you guys have something on that too, like how it's set up, the structure, the ins and outs, not just the explanation, but how you build it out, what kind of contracts we should have? What does that look like? Who handles the payments? Do you go through, have another company collect the payments so that, because aren't you, if you're doing seller financing, is that between, like, if you get an embark, well, no, that's lease options, isn't it? If you have um, a sandwich lease or something like that, where we're getting a payment from somebody else and we make our fee. What am I thinking of? Am I mixing things up, or you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, so I think lease options are a little bit different. I'm not an expert at it at all, so I would definitely ask Nick to maybe have someone, and I can ask them for you guys to have someone come and speak on seller finance. I think Brent, not Brent Daniels, Brent Bowers is big on that as well too. So that might be like a good guest to have on and speak on seller finance or at least options and stuff like that, and seller finance.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Mhm. Sweet. George, Sadia, thank you for joining us as well too. We do have a small group today, so next week we look to pick that up. But just wanted to touch base with you guys just to see how everything's going in your world. We're just having like Q&A dialogue for today's session.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so the first question I wanted to ask was, have you ever dealt with like the tax deed auctions? Like lots headed to the tax deed?
No, I haven't dealt with them to the extent. I think he has more experience in that particular realm. But what I do know is if they are heading to the tax deed, the only way you'll be able to help them is if you have a buyer that's able to close quicker, fast, and before it goes to auction.
Yeah, because I was thinking about hitting up the third party bidders. Because I know Derby had a YouTube about how to do it. I'm just trying to see what's the best way to talk to them, like the third party bidders, like
Mhm.
convince them to go with me. Because they may say, well, what I need you for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of difficult. I'm not like an expert at tax deeds. Now if it's already on the auction block and they could see it, then they would have a valid question in regards to why they would, go through you and they could just submit the bid there, unless you're able to just maybe come up and get the seller to agree to a certain price that's less than what's on the auction for, and then wholesaling it to the buyer that way. You know what I mean? That's how you can maybe provide value.
Mhm.
You have to get the seller on board in order for, before you can present it to the buyers first.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Could that be another interesting topic that we could learn about? Another strategy?
absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
Tax deed, seller finance, novations, lease options can kind of be combined with seller finance. So seller finance / lease options, novations, tax deed. Anything else you guys want to kind of hear about?
Yeah, and tax liens, because I think Texas is a tax deed state, but when we're working with states that are tax liens, would that all be together with the tax deed and tax lien? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I also some probates.
Okay. Probates.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, probate's a
Yeah,
nice lead source as well, too.
it goes well.
A nice lead source as well.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I was gonna follow up on my question last week. The stuff I was asking, I don't know if my question came through properly. Like halfway through me asking the question to Jacob, I
Uh-huh.
realized he's probably the wrong person to ask because, like, I remember he said he just does primarily houses and stuff.
Mhm.
But as far as like the strategy I've been using, the infill and stuff, um, I find it like it's more difficult, I guess, to try to find buyers after I got a property, like under contract and stuff. It's more rushed. So I was trying to figure out how you be doing it, and then also and then also ask if you only do infill or do you also do rural rec and
Yeah.
stuff like the bigger spots.
So yeah, so finding buyers, I think the best way to me to find buyers is one, you kind of have to have like an omnipresence approach to it. You got to pretty much tackle, online presence, social media. Not so when I say social media, not like Instagram and Facebook. I mean like LinkedIn, uh, maybe their Facebook business page, Google, of course. And then after I hit those channels, if I can't find direct sources, I'm gonna try to find people that know these sources, whether it be through realtors, brokers, lenders that work with either builders or small mom and pop developers. Like I'll start attacking people that may have some form or some type of connection to the type of buyer or the buyers that I'm looking to go after. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Like,
like
find them.
my bad, it cut off. You said what would you say?
I was just saying that's my approach to kind of find them. Because sometimes some people can introduce you, right? And then sometimes it's just hard to get a hold of someone through, whether it be email, whether it be text, phone call, you know what I mean? All of the buyers that I've always gotten in contact with has always been through email. And then there has been times where I've been introduced either by a referral partner, a realtor, a broker, even a lender, right? I've gotten in builder by reaching out to the lender and saying like, hey, I have this potential project that might be suitable for a person you just lended money to. Would you be okay with introducing me to them? So then that way I could present them this so they could build their next project on. And then I think that what they should hear in their mind is, oh, this is an easy layup, because if they end up buying this land from such and such, this is another loan I get funded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of my approach to tackle it.
Gotcha. And you constantly looking for buyers essentially. You don't just like you found the buyers and then because from what you just said, it sounds like you already have property, and then you go try to find buyers for it.
Yeah. So now, as of recently, to answer your second question, is recently I haven't been on my like forget buyers type of thing, but I have been experimenting with just listing it on the market, and
Gotcha.
just whatever buyer comes my way that wants to buy it, I'll sell it to them. You know what I mean? And the reason I like that approach is, one, it gives you more leverage, it gives you more pretty much control of the deal, and buyers are coming to you. When you come into buyers with deals, now you at the mercy of them getting back to you, saying yes or no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I found that the reverse, putting it on the market, kind of helps you with the negotiation leverage.
And you wholesale it still?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then that's where Landstats come in, and then I'll do kind of like a deeper dive in Landstats. But that's where Landstats come in, so you can see how long you should anticipate either having this on the market or how long it should be up for sale, depending on previous history as well.
Gotcha. How long do you usually ask for your sellers for the time to be under contract?
So in my pitch to them, before I even pitch them this offer, I have them confirm if they're willing to wait a little bit to get a higher price. Because my whole pitch to them is, hey, we got an offer that will align if you value speed and convenience. And then this other offer will align if you value getting the most money and you don't mind waiting a little bit.
Okay, so the stuff you're listing are all novations.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And the difference between novations and just basically wholesaling is just the fact that you actually just list it. Because I mean, essentially, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just really just it's the equivalent to a realtor or a licensed individual doing an open net listing, right? So you're able to offer the seller a little bit more. You might, like for example, I got one for 22 in a market down here in Florida called Lake Okeechobee, listing it for 35. Now, granted, somebody might come in and offer me 30, 32, or whatever the case may be. And then I'll just double close or just assign it to them at that point.
Right. Makes sense.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So at that point, it's more so like I'm not necessarily concerned about, because that based on, and if you use Landstats will tell you the sell-through rate and absorption rate. And I'll dive into that a little bit later on other calls. We can have a whole call dedicated to this if you guys want. But if you look at this on Zillow as well too, I just enjoy how Landstats presents the information. You can, you can look at how many properties went up for sale in a given time period on Zillow. And then you can look up to see how many properties sold in that same time period. Right. So if you see a market where 12 properties went up for sale in the last 90 days, but you got 15 properties that sold in the last 90 days, that's a good indication that properties are selling quick.
All right.
That'd be the equivalent of you having, let's just say you start the day with 10 ice cream cones or whatever it is that you want to sell. But by the end of the day, there was a point in time where you had to like go back and get more because you ran out and you sold out. And then by the end of the day, you ended up selling 15.
Or yeah.
That lets you know that there's not a lot of inventory and there's a lot of demand there. Now, in reverse, let's just say if you had 15 that went up for sale in 90 days, but only, let's just say 7 of them sold, that lets you know that that might be an equal balance between sellers and buyers because only half of the inventory sold that went up for sale in the last 90 days.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Right. So that kind of gives you a good indication whether how long you should expect to, have a property sitting on the market, especially if you price it right. And then also kind of like the demand in that particular area.
Cool. And you be having people like funding like the deals as far like you said like the 22 and then maybe selling for like 32, 35. Like you have like people can fund that spread.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a gentleman by the name of Brad DeGraw. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. And I'll actually love to have him come back and speak to us. He does land funding as well too.
He lives in Holland too.
He does it in all states.
Oh, that would be great. If you could do that, Francisco, have him come back, that would be awesome.
Yes, he definitely is a good resource to have. And he comp property for you as well too. He's very big in the land community as well too. I always see him in groups, at events, the whole 9 yards. So, and this is also something to add to your arsenal as well too. If you talk to Brad, he'll let you know how much he's willing to kind of like put towards the deal. He only does 50% LTV. So what that means is he only gives 50%. He only will fund 50% of the land value. So if the land is worth 100, he's only giving you 50 grand. So if you get it for, he'll give you 50, you got to come up with the 20. Right.
Gotcha.
But if you happen to get it for 50 and he gives you 50, then essentially you got to pay out at closing is just closing costs.
Or that makes sense.
And then you work with him to figure out how much he's in the game to have his money make money. So if he give you 50, he probably want 2,500, $5,000, whatever makes it worth it to him, and then he'll break all of that down to you as well too.
He does like a fixed number like that. He don't do percentages.
He'll do but yeah, I don't know what the exact number what exact percentage. I was giving you an example.
Gotcha.
Okay. You go work it out and see pretty much which one, what I'm saying, what number you'll have to pay him back at. And on his website, he has a calculator that will let you know if you borrow X amount, this is how much you'll be getting back.
Right. Yeah. No, because I was just asking because some people I was trying to work with as far as the funding, like they would only fund like rural rec properties. Still talking about like as far as the info properties, they don't have as much spread on them, right? And they can only use them for one type of use. If you can't build on it, then it's useless. Essentially, so it's too much more risk.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I think it just varies because different people have different risk tolerance and things of that nature. So True. It just depends on, what their end game or what their model is. I think Brad, he does anything that can sell pretty quickly. You know what I mean? So it could be residential, it could be rural, and I think I can specialize in rural.
Okay. Do you do rural? That's actually what I was trying to ask do last week. You do like rural and stuff?
Yeah, so the one I have in Okeechobee for 22, that's completely rural.
That's okay. It's not like an infill though. It's just like a big like property like between 10 acres above.
Oh no. It's rural. It's only like it's a 1 acre tract, but it's in the rural part of Florida.
Got you. That would still be like a house though, right? Like that's pretty much the only thing you can use it for. Nobody can really go hunting on it.
Like mobile home parks that people are building in that specific area. So mobile
Yeah.
homes or trailer, people put trailers like that. So that's very popular in certain places of Florida. And in Lake Okeechobee, there's a specific area of Lake Okeechobee called the Perry, and that's all they do. That's all people kind of like buy land for, is just to put trailers on them.
Gotcha. I'll look into it.
Right.
I had a
George,
problem.
thank you. But go ahead, Griff. You had another question?
You know, so I had a property I wanted you to like help me look at, like on Landsat, help me out, like figure out like a price for it. But I was gonna say once you talk to other people first, I want to like hog the whole time. If you got time for, we'll wrap up and stuff.
No, yeah, we're good. I mean, we could wrap up a little early, so a few of us. But let me just check in with Joy real quick. Joy, you got any questions or anything you want to share with us? Thank you for joining us, by the way. If not, it's okay.
Hey, I got a quick question. Do you know anybody that can help me to build my LinkedIn profile? You know, because as a beginner and I haven't done any deals just yet,
Mhm.
how can I show up on LinkedIn and attract the right people? And of course, as I do more, of course, I would change it, you know. But do you know anybody that can help me with that? Because I'm finding out that's a powerful tool as well.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that specializes in like helping people with LinkedIn, but I think one suggestion that will work is if you drop your LinkedIn now. I mean, it's only, again, granted a few of us here, but we can all connect with you on LinkedIn, and then you can start connecting with everyone's, like, let's just say Griffin. If Griffin follows you on LinkedIn, start, get connected with him on LinkedIn, and then try to get connected with other people on his LinkedIn, right? So you want to kind of like start looking for people that you are familiar with, or at least you can kind of like connect with mutual people that know people that you know, right? So that way they can kind of strike a conversation like from the standpoint of like, hey, I see you're connected with so and so on LinkedIn. Just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? And then just try to have a genuine conversation. LinkedIn is almost kind of like a professional Facebook, right? So I think the best way you can probably build it out or kind of like get it up and running is just fill it out with your, not your resume, but your background, kind of like your recent history, because there's almost like a resume section in LinkedIn. And then naturally you'll start gravitating to people that share those same skill sets or background, and then you can connect with them using that as well too, Carlos.
Oh man, I got to get the replay on this. That's awesome. I'll
Yep.
do that. I won't be able to do it today because I'm visiting my daughter at the nursing home, but um, I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you. That's powerful right there.
No
Yeah.
problem. No problem. Sweet. All right, Griff, you have a deal you want to look at real quick?
Yes, sir. Let's see if I pull up that address real quick. So yeah, it's like a three lot deal that's out here in Fairfax. And then so the seller wants 1.85 mil, but when I was looking at the comps, um each lot, like similar lots were selling between 700 and 800K. And when I broke down what he was asking, it was like 616K. So I figured I could at least make a good solid flip on it. But when I sent it to like this realtor I was talking to, he ended up coming back and he was like, properties in the area only selling like for 1.5. So he could only offer 1.2, which is like 400K per lot, right? Which is like basically half of what I was seeing on the comps. So I just want to like verify that with you.
How much? How much does a seller want for all three lots?
1.85 mil.
Oh,
Yeah. And basically, the first realtor I talked to, he said like he got somebody who would take it, but the most he'll pay for is 1.2, which is like 400K per lot. But I seen similar properties selling in the area, immediate area, for like 800K. Yeah, I'll just give it an address. We can take a look. Actually, let me see if I can put it in the chat for you. But yeah, I was just trying to see if you think it's something like maybe I should call some more people around because like from the comps I was seeing, I was like I thought I could at least get 700K an acre for. I mean, not an acre, a lot for it, which is on the lower end of the comps, which would still work for my what's that guy's name? For the seller.
All right, what's the what you call it? What's the address? Put the address in the chat.
Yeah, I was trying to copy and paste it in here. Yeah, there you go.
And
So yeah, so that's like one of the lots, and then he got two lots right next to it. So it's gonna be three lots, two vacant lots, and then that address is to a home that could be either a tear down or a fix and flip.
I don't have. Let me see. Is this it? Let me make sure I have access to my land ID on here. Okay, matter of fact, I do. Sweet. All right, never mind. Tabs real quick, and then I will pull it up for you. Give me 1 second. Oh, he accidentally got out. All right, great. You back?
Yeah.
Good. And all right, sweet. So let me go ahead and right here. Put the address in here. As always, I like to start a mile away or within a mile radius. And then we only got one that's sold. Go 12, 24 months. A lot of activity. Let's see what's for sale. I mean, you got this one for sale. It's been on there for a while though. For 1.1, but it's 1 acres. I've got nothing pending.
These are smaller than that. Just like the biggest one I believe is 0.27 acres, 0.29 acres.
Let me see. Let me go ahead and let me open up another tab on my browser so I can get land ID.
Yeah. I was only able to see comps after I went as far as 3 miles. I didn't go back 24 months. I stayed at 12, but I opened it up to about 3 miles and I seen a bit more comps within like a mile or two.
Okay, wait, let me go ahead and share my screen again. Is this the right one we look at?
Yes, sir. And then
Okay.
he owns he owns all three of those lots. He's trying to sell all of them. And the asking price was 1.85 M for all three.
Oh, okay. But he want to
Yeah.
sell the house too.
Yep. The house and the two vacant lots all together for 1.85. So the house I think is like from the 70s, I believe. He say it's been renovated here and there. If somebody wanted, they could like fix and flip it, put a renter in there because he just had a renter. But they could also just do it as a tear down and just have three vacant lots.
Mm, okay. So we're going back. What is this one? 0.29.
Yeah. Some of the really small ones, like the 0.13, I believe that might be what is it called? Like those might be for townhomes. I don't know I don't think those are true comps.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that one's a house though. Yeah, so like this is what I was looking at. I was like, that's like 850K for 0.21. I got 0.27 and he's selling it really at 16K and a lot because it's three of them if you break it down. So I figured I could at least get 700K a lot. But first guy I already talked to, he talking about 400K a lot.
All right. So here is my caution to you, because this is like the area that you live in, right? Like as far as right? Okay. So one, there's a couple of things. I will contact the city first
Yeah.
or like builders to see what is the process, like what's the tear down market in this particular area like, right? Like how popular is it for people to tear down properties and then rebuild, right? And
Yeah,
then
they look like the guy I was talking to. This is like the second property I sent it to him. They say they are looking for tear downs and single family. I mean, vacant lots for single family. They prefer tear downs because it's easier. Everything's already pretty much set in place. But they said they also do vacant lot just to factor in the permitting process and like what's it called? Development process essentially as far as entitlement.
gotcha. Okay. So
Yeah, so I
if
know that for it. I just I don't know. Like it's just like I didn't realize like so I'm trying to see like he did it with the houses. He didn't use the land comps to come up with the what he's trying to offer. He just looked at it. He was like, I can sell a house for 1.5. So realistically, we can only offer 400K for the dirt.
mm,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, because then you got this one right here, but this was also, it looks like, well, no, where was the comp that I was looking at? 1.1, 0.29. Which one is this? Now, this is a little bit further away. So this is still
Oh, that's been on the market forever. Is that a sold one or a for sale one?
the for sale one.
Okay, gotcha.
And what the guy said he was willing to pay 1.2.
Yeah, for all three, which just breaks down to 400K per lot.
Three? Sheesh.
Yeah. So I was trying to see, like, would it be more worth it to just like get it under contract and then try to sell them separately, as separate lots? Um,
I would say
maybe.
I would try to I would focus on the first two, the just the vacant lot parcels,
Mhm.
and then see if he will take, if the guy wants 400 per lot, see if the seller will take 350 per lot just for the vacant lots.
Okay. Yeah, I could try that.
And for the house, right? Because then you'll get 100K spread right there, 50K a pop for each lot.
Yeah.
And then for the house, his best bet. Now I don't know like the condition of the house or anything like that, but I would entice the seller giving him two offers. One specifically for the lots primarily, because you already have a number to go off and negotiate with that, right? So that is like should be an easy pitch depending on his level of motivation, right?
Mhm.
And then you tell him like, hey, now when it comes to the house, here's the options that we could do for the house. One, either connect him with the realtor that could list it, or two, tell him like, hey, if you list the house for this much, you'll get that 1.8 that you're talking about. So basically, if you get the two lots, offer him 350 per lot,
That's 700.
that's
Oh,
700,000. So now he just has to sell the house for 1.1. He just has to sell the house for 1.1.
boom.
and then however he sells it is completely up to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to pitch that. So let's see what's good.
Right. Just say like, and how fast can your builder close?
He said like within the next 60 days.
60?
60. Yeah.
Like 60?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I mean, that's manageable. You know what I mean? If you do the two, I will pitch him the two lots, 350 a piece for the lot, 350 each lot,
Yeah.
350 each lot. Yeah, 700K for both lots. And then he just got to figure out if he could sell the house for 1.1. Still
For
walk,
sure.
still walk away with what he want, and boom, you make a
Yeah, that's a good idea. What I was gonna try to do is talk to some more realtors and see if somebody else will pay more for it. But that sounds like a better plan, actually. I'll
Yeah,
try that first. If that don't work, then I'll try some other realtors. And if not, just drop it.
and I think one thing that I will also communicate to him is like try to figure out when you're communicating to him what's motivating him to get this done.
He's old. Where he's telling me he actually even has like two other businesses. Like he's trying to like offload his businesses. He got some other houses, some other places he's trying to move. But he wanted to move these off first, to move it somewhere else and then like liquidate the other stuff. So I was trying to see if we could do something good with him on this. I could probably get the other properties he has. And I know some people like who be flipping people's businesses, so I can just assign them that, let them do it. But I
Oh,
wanted to at least get this off his hands with a number where like he like somewhere close to where he was asking. That way he'd be more motivated to do more work with us.
gotcha.
But yeah.
So
But I said,
what the way that I would pitch him is exactly everything that you just mentioned about how he's getting up of age. He wants to kind of liquidate everything. It sounds like he just wants to just relax and just chill.
right.
All right. So I will like continue ringing that in his ear. Like, hey, Mr. Whatever his name is, Steven, like, hey,
Yeah.
what I want to be able to do for you, I think I've kind of proposed a very good plan that will allow you to kind of offload these fairly quickly, but we just have to do it in steps so that way we're efficient in getting you to your end goal. Is it okay if I review kind of like the plan that I put together? And then again, we'll take it one step at a time so that way we can move effectively and then make sure everything gets to the closing table.
Yo, you mind working with me on this, bro? That'd be pretty cool if you got some time, just so I could like learn that. Because I mean, I could pitch it, don't like no worries and stuff,
Mhm.
but I could like like work like the multiple deal like that, trying to like come up with some creative strategies. So if I could see you work it, and then we could split whatever.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
bet.
I'm with it. If you want to set up a time for us to speak, Thursday will probably be best for me. And you
Okay.
have my number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just text me and then we'll just work out a time to get on the phone with them and then pitch them on the deal.
Okay, for sure. For sure. Appreciate that.
All right. Sweet. All right, sweet. As always, guys, it is a pleasure. We'll go ahead and wrap up for today. I really like the small, intimate setting. But me and Nick are going to work on kind of like coming up with guest speakers, kind of to cover the topics that you guys talked about: seller financing, novations, probates, a mixture of what else? I think I'm lease options.
All
Uh,
right.
and also deal funding. I think deal funding will be another one. So I have that all written down, and then I'll present it over to Nick, and then we'll start getting some guests to cover those calls. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, before you go, I had one more question, man. About that thing you sent us as far as like your partnership. Are you only looking like to partner, do JV deals like in those areas you said?
In those areas specifically, yes, but I am open to anything. Like I am very big on collaborating. So collaborating is literally like my bread and butter. But anywhere that it makes sense, like even if it's like an opportunity where it's like as long as the numbers align, I'm definitely on board with partnering anywhere. You know what I mean? Or at least, contributing where my expertise can deliver some results.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. So we'll go ahead and wrap up for today, and then I'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a good week.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.